This is part one of a two-part video. Basically, the theme of this is going to be how to farm planar shards to get uh, a large bag. So I purchased this medium collectible bag a long time ago from House Jurasco. The large gem bag, I was a lucky drop on a level 13 quest as an end reward, which the video is up there somewhere. And I have an extra small collectible bag because that's usually what fills up the most for me. I keep emptying them and dispersing them out to other characters, to other bags, and still, it's still a continual problem. And then there's a large ingredient bag. You'll get one of these each life for 12 favor. So you're not going to want to buy large ingredient bags for planar shards because after 3 or 4 lives, you'll have multiples of these, and they're not exclusive. So it is bound to. Usually, this is bound to character because of what's inside, but they're unbound when you get them. Uh, so medium collectible bag is probably my most problematic item. Even if I only had a medium gem bag, I'm okay as long as I'm selling every 5 or 6 quests or so. But the large gem bag has been really nice. I never have gems flowing into my inventory now. So the first priority is going to be getting a large collectible bag, unless one already dropped for you. In which case, you might want to go for the large gem bag or a second large collectible bag, because there's so many collectibles in the game. One bag is not going to be enough. So I'm going to go for the large bag, and so far I've had 30 planar shards drop for me. Most of these have dropped for me on the way to running Hound of Xoriat and Vision of Destruction here in the Subterrane. I didn't show the running in the Subterrane part. A few of them drop in some other quests, uh, you know, in 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 the Vale, for example. But you'll get very few there, and it's not really a good place to farm. In general, I'm not a big fan of farming. What I may not worry about the bag this life. What I might do is just get some this life, and then next life get some more, and then eventually I'll have my 150 to buy a large collectible bag. But I'm going to show you. My suggestion is to, if you want to farm these, is to do so by learning how to get to the raids. So there's a couple of other things you could do. There's one spot that you can run to that has a lot of spiders, and people believe that's the best rate to get planar shards. And then there's another spot where you get two uh, respawning respawning uh, enemies, and they basically, you can just sit there and watch Netflix or whatever, while you kill two every minute or so. But it's a pretty slow rate of return. I mean, that's going to be like 6 to 8 an hour doing that, very, very slow. So what I would do is just do something fun, like learn the way to the two raids. So part one is going to be Hound of Xoriat, which is the easier of the two. The path is actually a little more complex, but to get to Hound of Xoriat, you just have to basically find two sets of two runes. Whereas in Vision of Destruction, you have to get enemies to cross over a specific thing and light it up, and that's a little more complex. So that's going to be part two. Part one is going to be Hound of Xoriat, and I would kind of get that down to where you feel very comfortable with that before you start doing the Path to Vision of Destruction, which again isn't too bad, but takes a little bit longer for me anyways. I've not done that very many times, but I could still get it done. And so this is going to be Hound of Xoriat, the Path to Hound of Xoriat. So in the Marketplace Center, you just click on this and then push aside to climb into the subterrane. And then anytime a bag drops here, pick it up. That'll be another planar shard. And the path to Hound of Xoriat and Vision of Destruction starts out the same and then kind of differs. I'll show you where that happens. You'll need to make sure your Featherfall item is equipped, and then you just jump down and veer off to the right this upper path. There's going to be some living storms. You could ignore them in this area. At least I do. They respawn and they don't, at least I've never really gotten a lot of bags dropping from them. Um, at this level, they're not tough. At higher level or lower levels, they can be a little bit tough. And then kind of veer up this ramp and then jump over to this gate. You're going to get some skeletons here, and there's a few more that are going to come up, and I think I just dropped a bag. I think I saw one here. I don't know where he went. And it can be a little hard to see in the subterrane, so you want to hit the Q button to find a bag. I guess the bag did not drop there. And at this first door, oh, there he is. Yeah, I'm not sure what the percentage rate is, but I'm guessing it's, you know, maybe in the 5 to 10% drop rate range. Alright, then you just follow this path. We're heading east now. Alright, there's a bag. And so we'll just pick that up, and that gives me a planar shard. You're going to always get planar shards. As far as I know, at least from what I've run, I've always received only planar shards from the bag, which is perfect because that's what we want to get. Alright, when you get to this sort of dead end, you want to go right, but we'll clear this first. And I'll show you on the map. And so there's a good map if you actually go to Hound of Xoriat quest, you'll see a map on the path to Hound of Xoriat, and that's the way I didn't even know that was there, but that's the way I've always taken. I just kind of figured it out with the Guildie Chronivere long ago, and that's just the way we've always taken. So it looks like people believe that's the best route. Same route that we sort of found is the route that other people believe is the best route. And so again, another treasure bag. So that's 2 so far, not too bad. And so, you know, we started off in the subterrane, we jumped down and feathered fall down this direction, and then went up a ramp, took a right here to the dead end, and then now we're going south or right, and there's going to be a rune to click here. And so currently on the map under Hound of Xoriat for the path down to Xoriat, we are on 1. There's sort of some numbered paths. We're on path number 1, and when we go through this portal, it's going to take us to path number 2. So, you know, the map for me only makes sense because I already know the way. But basically, once you go through that portal, you just want to go left. And these spiders, I've always had good luck with. These same spiders drop bags in other quests, a few other quests. You pick them up along the way, but you don't really farm for them there. All right, and so we want to kind of hug the left the whole way. Keep on the lookout for bags. And that lever's for the other direction. We don't need to worry about it. All right, so let me get my poison and my restoration cookie. And you just want to kind of hang to the left here. And might as well just get all these guys while you're here, since the whole goal is to get bags. And there's 2, so that's 4 total so far this run. Let's get this shaman. And this is where the path diverges between Hound of Xoriat and Vision of Destruction. So we're going to hang left, keep left here until we get to this dead end, and then there's another portal we could open. And so you just keep at it. All right, so now we're in zone 2, and we go through this portal, and we're going to transport to zone 3. Zone 3, you want to go right, so we want to go towards that door there. But first, again, we're trying to get tokens, or we're trying to get these planar shards. So we want to defeat every enemy we can along the way. We're not trying to avoid fighting here. We're trying to fight when we can. And you know, you can just wander around. There's a lot of areas in the subterrane people never really explore because that's an ice shard, not a bag. They never explore because you know most people know this path or learn this path, but you know it's they don't do much of the wilderness. But this is a good first step because you're going to get opportunities to join these raids, and a lot of times you're kind of expected to know the way. You can ignore that. That's just to
This
get the other
portal
way out.
churns with insanity, daring
So
you
now
to
we are going to
discover
leave
what it
zone
hides.
3 and go to zone 4 on the map. And so zone 4, we need to find 2 runes. They're going to be, you could hit Q to find them, but I find it, there's a lot of things blocking them. So it's, for me, it's just easier to kind of visually look for them. And they'll start when you get to this sort of lighter colored area is where you might start finding the runes. That's planar shard number 5 for this run. And there's one. And so if you do this enough, you'll probably note that they're in random locations, but you know there's certain set spots they can be in, and you'll know where to check. I'm not necessarily the best at knowing all those locations. I just sort of wander around. And again, we're not trying to avoid fighting here, so we want to find as many enemies as we can, anyways. And you know you have to kind of look back sometimes. You can use the Q button to find them, but a lot of times I find that it's easier just to kind of walk around and look for them. Normally I'm a big user of the Q button, and there we go. All right, so that opens up the path forward. So I believe I found 5. I had 30 at the start of this. So let me just make sure I'm at 5. I want to make sure I have an accurate count. So yeah, I'm at 35. So far we've had 5. And this part can be a little bit confusing. You just want to know that you're trying to get towards this. I'll show you when I get there. It's going to be, there's going to be like a black thing covering it until you find it. And so if we look on the map, this is the spot we're trying to get to. The map itself can be a little bit confusing, and we're trying to take this path up to the next level. When we get to the next level, we'll have to find 2 more runes to get to the quest. So again, we're still in zone 4 on the map. We're not changing zones here. We're just taking the path up within zone 4. And this isn't like Orchard or where there's tons of enemies, so you know it takes a little while to get all the. There's sort of like fewer, tougher enemies in this wilderness, so it takes a little longer to get your planar shards. All right, so now we are to the top level, and so again we're going to be looking for 2 runes. Ice shard, not a bag. I see 1 rune over there. And there's a bag, so that's planar shard number 6 for us. This run. I saw the rune. Let's see. Thought I saw it out of the corner of my eye. It's maybe ahead here. Ice shards. Alright, there's the one I think I saw. And there's the one up ahead. See it up ahead. So I'm gonna. I didn't show you what I just described it as like a black kind of netting thing. I'm gonna show you that before I press this lever. This is the second lever, but before I press it, there's sort of like one open area there, and then there's like a second here that has this sort of like black barrier netting. It almost looks like netting, and that's what the runes are going to remove. And so I'm going to click on this rune, and I'm just going to go up here because see if we find anything, any enemies. There's a portal up here, but we don't want to go through this portal. Just checking to see if there's an enemy up here, and yep, there it is. Spawn of. Since the goal is to get to get planar shards. All right, and so now that sort of black netting barrier is removed, and we can go through here. I didn't use any of my buffs here. Got a little lazy because it's pretty easy stuff. Just make sure I didn't miss any bags.
With its guardians clear, the madness aperture appears.
And that rare is not always there. And then we just go through this portal. So now we are at the end of Zone 4 on the map. This is basically the end of the path by this shrine. You'll get one more opportunity for a shrine, so you don't need to use this unless you're like completely out, but if you just want to top off, there'll be another shrine to do that. All right, so now we are leaving Zone 4 and going to Zone 5. And in Zone 5, we just have to clear 3 areas, and then a portal is going to appear here to take us to the raid. Again, that's on that path, the Hound of Xoriat, in the map itself. All right, and so this is, kind of a good chance. There's a lot of enemies here, so it's a good chance to get some shards. There's one. I believe that's 7, but I'll double check at the end. There's another one. And I believe that's 8, but I'm going to double check. And so we've cleared all 3, and that opens up this path to the raid. And this is going to take us to Zone 6, which is really just the raid itself and the shrine. And so this is the shrine. This is not the quest giver. You have to get that before you come in the Subterrane outside. He doesn't really do anything. You really don't need to talk to him. And this is your shrine before the raid. I'll just go ahead and shrine since I'm going to be leaving the... Actually, I won't shrine because I'm pretty full. And this is the raid. All right, now one caution here when recalling. Recalling is not going to take you to the marketplace. It's going to take you to the Subterrane Central, which is where we came from. There's 3 sections of the Subterrane, and recalling takes you to the last, back to Central from east. So we're gonna have to fight 2 enemies. So you don't want to recall and then walk away from your desk while recalling because you might come back and end up dead. Maybe not at this level, but even so at this level, it's 2 enemies and.
This portal churns with insanity, ready to discover what hides.
All right, so now we'll recall. We'll go back to the marketplace, and so no bags. Just check and see. I believe that was 8 total. And this is not something you have to do every life. This is once you get your bag, you probably don't need a second bag. You have like one large, one medium, and you could have that'll keep most of your collectibles. So I started off with 30, now I have 38. So I'd during that short run to the path of Hound of Xoriat, I received 8 planar shards. That's pretty typical. I'd say 6 to 10 on the run there is about right. You could actually get maybe about the same, maybe possibly a little more on the path Vision of Destruction. So that's part 1, and I'm not going to do part 2 immediately. I just had a short window today, so I wanted to do this, and then I'll probably run some Reaper runs, and then in the next couple of days I'll post the second part of this with the path to Vision of Destruction.